Quest presents an unabridged recording of The Haunting of Nelson Street, The Ghosts of Crowford, Book 1, by Amy Cross, narrated by Hannah Burman. Prologue. 1 year ago. Alone in her car, as rain crashed down all around, Daisy Johnson stared straight ahead and tried to keep herself from screaming. Waves of rainwater washed down the windscreen, casting dull shadows against Daisy's face as tears welled in her eyes. Since parking in the driveway half an hour earlier, Daisy had barely moved an inch. She felt as if her bones were about to burst out from her body, as if a great wall of anguish and horror was about to erupt and tear her to pieces. At the same time, she told herself that she couldn't possibly keep herself together for much longer. She'd been holding in a scream for hours now, and she was finally on the verge of letting it out. Suddenly, hearing a tapping sound, she turned to her right and saw that a figure was outside the car, already soaked in the rain. A moment later the figure crouched down, and Daisy saw her husband's concerned face peering in at her. "Daisy!" he called out, his voice barely audible over the sound of so much bad weather, his face distorted by the drops that were crashing down against the window. "Are you okay? How long have you been sitting out here? When did you get back?" She stared at him, and for the first time in 3 years of married life, she felt horrified by the sight of the man she loved. Richard was a good person, she knew that, and he didn't deserve any bad news. She tried to imagine how he might react to what she had to tell him, and she felt her heart break at the thought of his shock. She could try to sugarcoat things, she could try to soften the blow, but deep down she was certain that all her efforts would be in vain. He was safely on the other side of the glass for now, out in the storm, but soon she was going to have to face him. Soon she was going to have to tell him everything. "Daisy, can you open the door?" he asked, trying the handle but finding it locked. He tapped again on the window. "Daisy, please, you're starting to worry me. What's going on? Did something bad happen?" She opened her mouth to reply, but in that moment a knot of tension broke in her chest, and she began to sob huge smothering cries of pain and grief. She put her hands over her face as her shoulders began to heave, and now she genuinely believed that the waves of sorrow were going to be too much for her, that she really might be on the brink of shaking apart and falling into nothingness. She tried one
Sample complete. Ready to continue?